He's got a big one, too. It can barely fit in the room.
That's right. I gotta leave my zipper down all the time. It sucks.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Don't Be So Brewed. Thank you guys for listening, watching, viewing, subscribing, all of the above.
That's correct. All of the above.
I'm Dr. Double B here with these two ding-dongs. Go ahead, ding-dongs.
I'm Zimmy.
And Dr. A, the Korean Batman.
And we've got a guest with us today.
We sure do. My friend Michael Murphy. Michael and I have been playing.
Wait a second. So we've got Eminem and Double B.
That's right.
Yeah. So it's a double BM.
If you know what a BM is. Wow. He's over there trying to strain. He has no idea. He's like, you know what a bowel movement is? A BM?
Yeah,
a BM.
I didn't know that was like an acronym.
But anyway, well, since Brandon's way ahead of us.
I know,
yeah,
right?
crack those.
No, that sounded weak. Oh, mine's stronger than that.
Well, I was slow.
There we go.
I didn't want to dunk my mic in
That's
Needle
true.
Bandito.
Yeah, these do have a little bit of squirtage. They've been known to squirt. No, we were actually talking about it. This was the room that we're sitting in was an idea that we had the first time that we hung out with you when we all went to Joe Rogan.
Yep.
And it was like, man, if we could just go to Scott's shop right now and just jam, talk about all the stuff that we just watched, that would be amazing.
At least you know we execute.
Well, yeah, we
took some time, but we executed.
Group, but we executed.
Murph and I have been playing softball together for several years. Well, but we both moved to Dallas within like 3-4 weeks of each other.
Yeah.
Him from the West Coast, me from the East Coast, and East Coast. Actually, it was Louisiana, so it's the South Coast.
Is that East Coast of the Gulf or what?
East Coast of the Gulf. Baton Rouge.
Yeah, you know.
Well, so
there's water there.
Geography is not important.
It's neither here nor there. But
it sounds good.
And we met out, played softball, men's league, co-ed leagues, all that stuff, and we ended up getting on the same team eventually, and kind of been in my corner of as of you guys the time I've been in Dallas, and we went out to do Joe Rogan. I've been on your guys' podcast. That guy's got apparently a pretty popular podcast people have heard of a time or two.
Yeah,
he follows us.
It does okay.
And it's cool.
Yeah.
He literally follows like 4 people on all of Twitter. He doesn't follow anybody. But we're one of them.
And it's probably like his comedian friends, honestly. It's like, I follow you guys, that's about it.
I think it's like UFC, like Dana White, like maybe McGregor. He doesn't follow very many people at all. But we went to Rogan. We went out there, saw that.
I mean, we gave him the idea for Fight Companion. Or maybe he gave us the idea for Overtime. It's fine.
Claim copyright to it.
Yeah,
I'd say we're even.
Yeah.
And we came back. We had a beer here at Etches, and we're just kind of like discussing how the show went.
We wanted you guys to experience it with us. That's really what it was about.
We wanted to talk.
It's technically how every podcast starts. You're sitting there and you're like, man, this shit is funny. We're hilarious. More people need to listen to us.
I'm sure all of you want to know my opinions on this one random subject. So
of course,
like we pointed at the corner. We were like, man, we should tear down that corner and like build a studio there. Like what, 3 days later we did?
Yeah, I was about to say we started kicking around the idea, and then it was like, hey, let's do this. And the story that we've probably told to you guys over and over, we literally moved all the shelves, and Scott and I stood there with our hands on our hips like, look at that big open space right there. That looks nice. We slapped some tape on the ground. We're like, these are where walls will go. Over there, Jason's writing on a notepad like he's Einstein or Matt Damon and
Good Will Hunting.
No, it was more like fucking Bob Vila. He's like, okay, we're gonna go in here and we've got a bunch of
but I watched him over there like he was solving the greatest equation of all time. Slings his paper at us. He's like, that's what we need.
He was like, I've got all the tools. We just have to buy some wood.
Well, so this is the first time Murph's been here to check it out. Like, this guy travels a good bit, and he has a family.
Does he have many leather-bound books?
His house does smell of rich mahogany. I was there for a 1-year-old birthday party.
Balloons are still up, by the way.
Huh?
Those balloons have never came down thus far, and I can't get them down. I don't know what kind of helium's in there, but
we did not have a studio. We did not have a studio when I went to that party, for the record.
Oh wow! Okay,
that was December 26th.
So you've had those there for a little while now. We could say
going on 3 months.
Yeah. So he's got a year and 3 months.
You have to get a BB gun, dude.
So if you blow
enough to pop a balloon, but not to do damage.
And I had a bird fly in my house today.
A bird?
Through the back door.
Ooh, to roll off of our last
How the
one.
hell does that happen?
The fiance left the door wide the fuck open, and I'm on a call, and I see this thing go past my door, and I'm like, that looked really funny. Open my door, and there's a big ass black bird is doing circles around my house, and I'm like, she's like, there's a bird in the house. I'm like,
No shit.
how about we get it out? How do you get it out? Open the fucking door that you let it in with.
At least it wasn't a squirrel.
Where's Uncle Eddie?
Yeah,
Doesn't he
no
eat
kidding.
these kinds of things?
Oh,
So how'd you get him out?
He flew out the same way he came in.
yeah.
Eventually.
You just leave the door open. Eventually, it'll right itself, right?
So we're gonna go off of last episode. I have a conspiracy theory that I want to bring out because I think it needs to be discussed in front of y'all.
Oh shit! Here we go.
Don't be so conspiracy theory version.
Michael-
Episode
We're gonna be
2.
a new conspiracy podcast.
Michael had a UFO in his front yard.
It was actually my backyard on, was it New Year's Eve?
Yeah.
New Year's night at midnight.
This year?
Yeah.
Okay, break it down.
First off, how big's your yard?
Not big enough.
Okay.
I mean, it's
Like,
it's
this
not like
a,
California
Was
yards.
this like a baby UFO that came down from the mothership, or was this
no,
like
you know,
you got pictures?
I got a slight video and picture. I think I sent it to Jason. It
You
wasn't.
did.
Did it come through? Like, not everything kind of all the electronics
You can
went
see,
out. Or...
you can see it, and that was
It doesn't make sense from being a person who didn't see it himself. Like the video didn't make sense. You can tell something is very bright and there, but it almost just looks like a
It's a Squatch experience.
Yeah.
All over again.
yeah. So more or less, didn't even know it was New Year's Eve, and I was going to the gym and. I got to the gym, gym's closed. I'm like, well, that's bullshit. It's 24-hour fitness. 24 hours a day, you should be open. Realize on the radio, you know, it's New Year's Eve party. I'm like, I travel too much. You know, obviously work way too hard. So I go back home and eat dinner with family and, you know, was going about our night. And I was going to go work my office. And she's like, oh, it's going to be, you know, let's watch the countdown. All right, let's get on the couch. And I have, from my living room, faces the backyard. And my blinds are closed, and it hits midnight, and I'm sitting there, literally midnight strikes, you know, do the whole New Year's Eve kiss, the New Year's kiss, typical, and then she looks out the back, like towards the blinds, and you can see this light shining directly through us, and I'm like,
Not a bird.
that's not a bird, that's not a house, that's a bright ass light because it's coming between multiple shades, and so I run to my office, grabbed shoes, walked out and ran outside, and it literally went against the wind towards McKinney, and there was two of them. They stayed the same distance apart, but they would rotate, and so it went north, then went east, and never stopped. And I've never seen a plane fly that route, and I've never seen two lights that were, you know, those the circular lights off of there's a Honda dealership over there, like when you're going towards Frisco on 121.
okay.
Those circular lights have like a bunch of lights in them.
Yeah.
They look like that, but two of them.
Well, and so first thing I asked him, I was like, "Is this a drone?" And he's like, "It was quiet. There was no sound."
And it was New Year's. So what were you enjoying?
Well, there's even one more.
Yeah.
No. But like, so this
That was
happens.
pre-New Year's.
This happens 4 days after the birthday party, and the balloons still have not dropped from the ceiling.
Oh, how
They
interesting!
seriously have not lost any.
How
helium.
interesting.
That is
I-
kind of what balloons do, though.
No,
Yeah,
they don't.
No, with helium?
No.
I've
Usually
had
you got
helium-
like 2 weeks, maybe.
Well, I don't even know the damn car's name. It has a specific name. Jason knows it because of Colton. What's the car's name?
Helium?
No, the car that I had the helium balloons in. Remember when you came by? It's a TV. It's a cartoon. Oh my gosh. Either way about it, it's helium. It should
Like the
let
Lightning
out.
McQueen and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
It-
okay. So it was like an
Oh,
actual
okay, from
car.
like the movie.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So there's 3 of them still sitting at the top of my vaulted ceiling, and they're not coming
I
down.
think we should call the Ghostbusters and find out if there is an extraterrestrial.
the Don't Be So Brewed Busters.
There we go.
I need help.
Can we get a proton pack?
I ain't going
Yeah.
over there.
Don't cross the streams, Ray.
Well, apparently,
Don't cross the streams, Ray.
Scott's vagina's out, so he's not going over there. But we'll go. We could get some content for that. I'll do anything
Please,
for
would
content.
you?
We'll put it on. We'll put it out there. We'll do it.
I can dig it.
Jason and I, we'll get jumpsuits. We'll get the whole thing.
I'll get the wagon going. I'll drive you guys over.
Perfect.
There you
See?
go, yeah.
There we go.
We're gonna paint it white.
No, we're not.
Okay.
So
gonna
speaking
stay
of,
incognito.
if we're gonna talk about conspiracies, we got to get into this whole coronavirus thing.
Okay.
That's why we're drinking Nito Bandito.
Yeah.
So coronavirus conspiracy.
Did you
Lay
know
it
that
on
it's
me.
actually like hurt Corona the beer, their business? Like I guess they just released like some marketing thing that they probably had planned way before this. I'm completely ignorant. I don't know if they tried to steer into this and like, hey, we're gonna take advantage.
Have you
But
been
apparently
around
people are
humans?
pissed.
Have you been around
There's
humans?
been several news stories about them interviewing people and that they're avoiding Corona beer because of it.
It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
At least you're in
If I was
Corona
them, I
Light.
would plan for something once it's over, then I would launch and be like, yeah, game time.
It's probably good to just avoid beer in general. You don't want to knock your immunity down too far when this stuff kind of.
But join us.
Coronavirus and Lyme disease mixture.
Coronito bandito.
God, that was the joke of jokes. That was all over TikTok, all over Instagram, all over anything.
Which one?
Well, if I
Well,
get the
go-
coronavirus, hopefully I have Lyme's disease or some shit like that. I'm
You know
like,
what
these
goes
are
great?
legitimate things. You know that, right? Like people have Lyme disease. Like this isn't something that you, I hope I get this. Nobody who actually has that says that shit.
But so we know that like people are aware that the coronavirus has been around, right? Like it's the same term as the flu.
Common
Like
cold.
It's SARS.
It's
Yeah,
also
SARS.
written on Lysol, most
Yeah,
hand
because-
sanitizers. It's like helps kill this.
because
it's on there.
because it has the same type of like I guess structure as like regular flu does.
Yes.
You know, like you'll have H1N1, the H1C, all of those different kinds of flu, but coronavirus is SARS and a combination of lots of other viruses that are out there doing.
So, do you think it was maliciously released? You think it was unintentionally released? You think that
There's so much conspiracy in that one because
Well,
there's-
yeah, I was about to say
Well, that's what we're
I'm not
talking about,
educated.
right?
Yeah, but I'm not educated enough. Like, there's only one place where that can happen, and apparently,
China?
yeah. Well, apparently we have stuff around here, but they don't have the same restrictions and all this stuff. Like I guess Galveston or something is the other place, and they've got a place where they house all those.
Yeah, I mean, I just
Deadly.
You got to kind of wonder, right? Like every year, something new seems to get released.
Right.
It's actually every
somewhere.
few years. There was a meme that went around that it was like,
seems a
these are all the
little
things that I've
more-
survived, and it was like just a
Maybe,
list of
like-
them.
Ebola was
Ebola
like
was
what
3
3
years
years
ago,
ago, 2 years
ago?
ago.
Oh, dude, that was like, and nothing
know.
happened with that. But
Well,
man,
no, stuff happened. It just,
And the
didn't
like
hit
one
here
lady
as bad as it
not like this is. Though.
and the one lady who worked for the CDC was like, I'm
But-
not staying in
but
the
is
hospital.
this-
You remember that? Like in Atlanta, she like walked out.
Is this like when the Dallas weather guys say, there's a tornado coming, right? And like
Oh,
nothing
totally.
happens, right? I mean,
We don't even get rain.
Or it snows one
Right.
day, the next day has tornado the night, and then it snows the next day.
Snow-nado.
it's like I don't believe 10-mile-an-hour wind classifies as a tornado, even if it's lightning outside.
Just because we had 8 tornadoes in one day, we are now absolutely totally freaked out from them.
I know.
Mhm.
Well, so I did hear a report, and I didn't research, I did no follow up from it, but apparently one of the people that was accused of being a part of that same Chinese lab actually had originally worked, or in the last few years worked for like Baylor Scott and White, or worked at
I saw they
Baylor.
were out of
Interesting.
Boston, at a like MIT or Harvard or something like that.
So I read that two of the people who were not MDs but were part of like an engineering crew that they were looking for was 3 total.
Yeah, what does
individuals.
this do for the medical machine? What do you think?
The medical machine.
Mm-hmm. The system that we revolve within, basically, when it comes to
Influx.
medicine. Yeah.
Influx.
I don't know.
But does it?
It does, and it does from a medical standpoint. And then you think about it, it's all corporations now.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want to do it?
Is this? Yeah. Is this what?
CEOs are making bank.
Is this what you do as an insurance or a research and development facility to drive funds for research?
Potentially.
Drive
You just
investment?
wonder, it's the media machine that can drive and promote. Like, they can choose. There's stories out there that would drive people crazy of crazy stuff that happens, or, some situation that happened. There's all kinds of stuff all the time that happens that doesn't get talked about, or people don't go crazy over. But then you can have, like, the Casey Anthony story. There was a lot of stories. There's stories like that all the time, yet her story was the big one.
Well, I just go back to something that Mike and I were talking about, like what 500 what were you telling me, like $503 billion or whatever disappeared from the market, or $1 trillion disappeared from the market during that time. So you're not driving funds unless the wrong people are day trading reversely, like big money entities. that
For
are
real.
doing it.
So I could say this it was $3.7 trillion over 6 days. So we hadn't.
That was
That
way
was
Insane.
the 10-year Treasury. The yield on
Wow.
that was down to 1.1. That's the lowest it's ever been in our history. like the depression, the recession, nothing just came close. But if you think about it, is the wealthy move money first, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we had tons of calls. Like I was getting calls from doctors, with clients and things like that, and they're like, I think it's time to get out. And this was 2, 3, 4 weeks ago. And
So they knew.
They always move money first beforehand.
And then everything.
So you could tell something's going to happen when the wealthy start moving it 4 weeks ahead of time. Because they got their wealthy person newsletter. That says
Yeah,
it's
if you think
time
they don't
because
know.
Their billionaire camp newsletter.
As they're like
There's
creating
no way.
the market trends.
Right.
Of,
That's
someone
why they
catches
stay
them.
wealthy.
Of course.
I want you to give me a call.
We're
next
really
time.
like getting into
Let's
some
start
real
talking.
deep shit now. It's
What-
like
Mike, when they get ready to start buying, again,
Illuminati has officially.
give me a call when they start buying again.
I'll definitely do that. Like I said, I mean, like I know usually that when the market's going to go sideways, like when we had the mortgage meltdown, we knew prior to everything happening. But, most people don't say a word to their clients and to their, people that they're investing money for.
Sounds like I got to move my money.
Yeah.
Because they make,
Rich people move it first. So you're where now?
I'm second.
He's like, I'm
Or just
second or
third.
third. on the
Third.
list.
Distant third.
Maybe third.
We invested it all in the studio, so come down,
But
check
I'd
it
rather
out.
be running with the pack than behind it.
Oh,
So then do you think because of stuff like that, like there's all the rumors about Illuminati and all the shit that goes on with that. I don't feel that I believe something like that exists, but don't you think that there has to be these societies or like, hey, we're all rich people, let's get together and hang out.
entirely.
look at
It
the
exists.
what is it, the Mormon church in Utah.
Right.
They just got, they kept their books private, and how much money they had amassed. They make their members give up 10 or 15% of their income.
As a
And they had a
tithe.
private fund that nobody knew about until just recently, until they had whistleblowers. $500 billion sitting in there.
Yeah.
This is,
Boy.
and everybody had to sign
They still
NDAs.
can't get a candidate elected.
I
$500 billion.
I watched National Treasure, so I know Freemasons have an entire dungeon full of gold coins.
You just got to find the map, bro.
All I gotta do is I gotta find the really wicked George Washington 3D sunglasses
Yeah.
on top of the Liberty Bell.
That they're
That's what I'm
hidden.
here for.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And there's going to be someone chasing us down to get it.
Right? There's always somebody
But
chasing
we're
it.
on it.
No treasure hunter is ever the only treasure hunter hunting a treasure.
That's true.
Man, there's some interesting stuff in that too. You talk about like parts of the ocean that haven't been discovered and all these rumors of like, hey, there was this ship, it went down. This was one of the greatest. And it's like,
You know what all this is?
Conspiracy.
Good television. This is how the History Channel.
So
oh, for
survives.
sure.
So out of
I
all-
love watching shit like this because
That's
I'm
what
like,
I
that's fascinating.
out
I
of
do
all of
too.
that stuff, the only one that I want to know is I want to know if there is a president's book like that has the secrets.
There is a president's book. I thought that's pretty much been confirmed.
Has it?
Yeah.
That's the one I want. That's the one I want to see.
I want to know what goes down. Like there has to be this like sit down and like exchange of shit. And it's like, hey, bro, there's this thing that we do. We got to sit down. Typically we have a couple beers. We got to talk about this. Like there's some shit you got to know about.
Locker room talk.
And Trump would make me think he's the one person that's like, oh man, I'm about to blow this shit up. Like
Absolutely.
most people, it's like, we
I
ain't gonna say
assume that-
nothing. It's a good old boys club. But it's like Trump come out and be like, bro, I gotta tell you all about what's in this book.
I assumed that was going to be the case when he took office and was like, I have like 14 days and I'm going to release the JFK paperwork.
I don't know. Trump's impressive to me. He's like the only person that crossed Hillary that's still alive.
And, yeah, very true.
But did he really
Right?
cross her?
But did he? Yeah, did he?
Mm.
Maybe he was just trying to save her from being president.
Save her from herself.
from being president, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Oh man,
Don't worry, I'm not
But that's
Democrat,
another
not
Republican.
Republican, just
I'm
American.
American.
Just
I mean,
American.
hey, it makes sense. Why not just go that direction?
Whatever.
Just go Buffalo.
They all suck anyway.
Just go Buffalo.
Just go Buffalo.
Yeah.
I like the Buffalo.
Bison. There's never been a buffalo in America.
I
Are
just
you
feel
aware
like
of
there's so many
I
of
did not
these.
know
Like,
that.
There's no such thing as a buffalo that's ever been in America.
Really.
Buffalo is a southern hemisphere animal. Bison, the American bison, is what people refer to as buffalo.
Okay.
That's what you've learned today.
educate him.
My name is Jason.
right.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I'm Dr. Nobody, and I can,
Jesus.
I approve this message.
Yeah,
Did
right.
you
I'm
just
like-
name yourself a doctor too? Now we have 3. I
Dr.
don't think
Nobody?
so. We can't do that. We ain't got time for that.
We should. You know what? We should start a podcast called The Doctors. No one's ever thought of that before.
Yeah, we can't get in trouble for that shit. We don't have anybody coming at us for that.
Speaking to it, if you want to talk about coronavirus, didn't Dr. Drew came out a couple days ago, was like, the media needs to shut the hell up. The coronavirus is not as big a deal as everybody's making it
It's
out of.
not.
No.
But people love to get scared about shit.
Yep.
They
Man.
do.
So speaking of Drews, did you see Drew Carey's ex
Yeah.
was killed?
No.
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh,
Thrown from a third floor balcony.
Yeah, in a dispute with her
Ex-boyfriend.
and her Drew had only been broken up like what, a year or something like that?
And they were engaged.
Damn.
Wow.
Drew and her were engaged.
Fucked up
Did you
shit.
see the Wendy Williams response to that? I mean, I know we're going back a few weeks, but on that, but Wendy Williams made a really bad joke about it, where she made the comment of that the girlfriend had been murdered, and she announced it like Drew Carey's ex-girlfriend was murdered by her ex-boyfriend, and everybody was like, "What?" She was like, "No, it wasn't by Drew Carey. It was another ex-boyfriend after him." And he threw her from the third-story balcony, and she was like, "Again, it wasn't Drew Carey. It wasn't. Come on down." And she got. I don't know.
That's got a good one. I got laugh.
Like literally,
It just might have been too soon.
literally, the crowd was like, "Oh, like that
yikes.
whole
And I'm the dick that would have laughed.
live studio."
Oh, yeah. How would. Oh,
I would have gotten up and run down. I'd been like, yeah.
Come on down.
I mean, damn. That's crazy.
She had just gotten over, like, I guess saying something else crazy about a transgender situation, and like it had just finally blown over for her there, and literally the next
Does Wendy
day.
Williams want to be talking about transgender situations? I've always kind of wondered about her.
Yikes.
Anybody else? Like,
Her and a
That's-
I mean, you can't sit there
Put
and
her
be
and
like,
RuPaul in a room
"Eh,
and see-
maybe."
That's for a future podcast. We didn't write that on
Is
the
it?
board. I don't want to dive into that.
Put her and RuPaul in the same room and see who
I think
we
we
can
could
figure out
classify
who's
under
who.
at least two of those topics.
Oh, I'm sure. Literally, that's just threw some shit up there.
Oh,
Before we get off the conspiracy stuff, I want to talk about the one that we were talking about before we went live
Before
with
we get
the
off of Wendy Williams,
unknown compelling forces. So if you guys want to look up a crazy conspiracy, just Google the term unknown compelling forces and it will come up with, I'm going to totally destroy this, the Dyatlov Pass incident. Basically, it's these 9 hikers that were hiking in the Russian mountains. There's just like some crazy stuff that happened. Basically, bad weather. People went to go find them thinking they got stuck. They went up there to go find them. Like, I've only read a little bit, but I know I'm going to get into this further. Went up there to go find them. Couldn't find anything. Couldn't really understand what was going on because the tents weren't destroyed. Like, everything was fine. You gotta.
I said back up.
You okay there?
but you're getting loud.
You could turn your shit down too. It's okay.
But they
Here.
can't.
They can too, actually.
Continue.
Welcome to the studio. I had to do it last episode too. That's not from you. Kenny
yeah,
Kenny like
that's what I
really
said.
got up
Kenneth
really got up on his
Another level
mic, and I was
compared to me.
Yeah.
oh yeah, his Alex Jones voice.
Oh, I still wish we could have got him to do that. If you guys haven't, you need to go back and watch that episode. One of my favorite episodes.
So the guy we were on last week, like early on at last studio, all of that stuff came on and did an Alex Jones. Like
He
at
sounds
first-
just like him.
just like, I mean,
And so I got him to do it a couple times. I called him Kenneth Jones, and he was like, and he would get it. I'm
He'd
like,
get
dude,
right
you sound
into
just
it.
like, yes.
I can imagine. I wasn't there for that recording. I listened to it afterwards, but I can only imagine Red Face holding his breath in and a vein popping out of his head, the same way
dude,
Alex Jones would.
tearing a
right
bicep while he's getting
Right.
jacked up.
Right after Alex Jones
Choke me out. Choke me out. Come on.
does 4
don't
ounces
let
of
you do it.
cocaine before he goes on air.
No kidding. I'm not real smart. He like says these most random, just ridiculous things.
I still think we need to go find his compound in Austin.
Okay.
Like we need to show up there with Don't Be So Brewed gear
I'm
on.
showing up there. Shoot your ass out.
Again, apparently this will just be you and I.
I'll drive.
Anyways, since
Right,
I got
down the street.
since I got distracted, basically when they found these
We'll
people,
bring balloons.
Balloons.
what was it like? They found 5 of them dead. The other 4 that they found had like cuts on their face, like broken bones, broken.
Like missing tongue.
Yeah,
Were
missing
those 4
tongues.
alive still?
Their bodies were radioactive. No, they were like found in a different location. So there were 5 of them found, like, if I remember right, with like no clothes on. That they followed these tracks and they're like, there's some of them here. These people were like not recognizable, basically, from how I remember to describe. Like, again, this is just from memory. Then they find these other 4 people. They basically had the clothes of those people, like they had gone further or something like that. But it was like their bodies were radioactive. They had all these crazy fractures, like all this insane stuff. Again, like he was talking about missing a tongue and all this stuff. And it was like they classified their death as caused by unknown compelling force. That's just how the cause of death was unknown compelling force. Like, what the hell is that?
They were students.
It was unknown,
Unknown.
and it was compelling, but it was
Were they
definitely
students?
forced.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, they were students.
Blunt force trauma.
In February 1959, 9 young hikers on a cross-country ski trip mysteriously died under horrific circumstances. Is one of the great mysteries of our time.
You know who could have found him? DB Cooper.
Come on now.
Did you see that they think that DB Cooper died like this time last year?
I don't know who that is.
You don't know who DB Cooper is? He's a guy who
Hijacked the airplane.
hijacked a commercial
Stole a bunch of
aircraft
money, hijacked, and then skydived out with a bunch of money, and no one ever found him.
over like
Really?
Montana, Wyoming, or something
Yeah,
like that.
Was,
Yeah,
What?
60s,
Yeah.
early 60s.
Like in some mountain areas, basically jumped out of an airplane.
But he was a former.
Never found anything of
Yeah.
him.
And
This-
but there's no, they don't know who he is. But the people they tracked down, they believed like was like 3 people who were very common, had similar lifestyles. All were like former Rangers or Special Forces operators.
yeah.
And so they believed that they could have lived on the land by themselves. It was supposed to have had a second partner potentially that was going to pick them up down there, who got caught but had no direct tie to the bank robbery or any of that stuff for it. But a gentleman died about this time last year, and he worked for like American or United or something like that. I remember,
Interesting.
but it was out of like SeaTac, so out of Seattle. So worked for one of the aircraft companies. Maybe it was Alaskan or something like that, but worked for another agency up there flying, and passed away. Had like no tie, no kin, but was in like a lot of the same places at the same time and looked comparable. Because the famous picture of DB
More
Cooper
conspiracies,
is
man.
the drawing, but he has huge giant aviators. So like you can't see the vast majority of DB Cooper's like facial structure that they drew.
There's a movie called Without a Paddle. It's all about that story. Like they want to
Yeah.
go track down where DB Cooper was, and they find him. Basically, is the whole.
Well, they find him, but they find the partner,
Yeah, they
right?
end up.
Who's out there looking for him.
So
Still,
So basically, back to this one, because now this is Wikipedia, by the way. So take it with a grain of salt. Yeah, they said basically this experienced trekking group, who were all from Ural Polytechnical Institute, had an established camp in the slopes. Something caused them to tear their way out of their tents and flee the campsite, all while inadequately dressed for heavy snowfall and sub-zero temperatures.
That's
so the
a
ones
bear.
that didn't have clothes were running off. Yeah, I was about to say, are there bears there? I'm assuming there would be.
Yeah, it's in between Asia and
I mean, have you ever seen a Russian?
Have you ever seen a radioactive bear?
Have you ever seen a Russian
Not
circus
yet.
before? There's always a bear like walking on a ball.
Maybe they were skinwalkers.
So it says, after the group's bodies were discovered, an investigation by Soviet authorities determined 6 had died from hypothermia, while the other 3 showed signs of physical trauma. 1 victim had a fractured skull. 2 others had major chest fractures. And the body of one of the group was missing both its eyes. One of the victims was missing a tongue.
See that?
The
coming.
investigation concluded that compelling natural forces had caused the death. Numerous theories have been put forward.
6 of them were not compelling natural forces. It was hypothermia.
Hypothermia,
You ever get-
avalanche, katabatic winds,
there's like some,
infrasound-induced panic.
well, I'm trying to figure out what that is.
I
In the middle
was
of nowhere.
I would assume that's like when they just absolutely lose their mind, right? And they do that caged wild animal like freak out, claw out somebody's eyes and bite
Can you
off somebody's
imagine
tongue.
going up to that spot, though, to try to find them and finding these tents and all this stuff? Like, how freaky that would be.
The BBC has it on how they found them, and in here it says the guy that found them, they just got off the helicopter and they split into small groups. They gone about 500 meters. When on the left, I saw the tent. Part of the canvas was poking out, but the rest was covered in snow. He used the ice pick to pretty much get through the rest. But once he got inside, like you said, everything was folded, like clothes-wise folded, nice, neat. But they also they had salo pork a delicacy that they were getting ready to eat, all sliced up, like ready to cook. And they never ate it. And the tent was actually slashed open from the inside.
Like somebody went crazy on the inside for them to try and get out.
Yeah, and so
it's interesting. I do like your bear theory. It makes the most sense. In crazy stories like this, I like the things that make the most sense. It's
kiss
like
method.
So, the radioactive bear.
Kiss method. Well, I mean, it's Russia. So, I mean, how close were they to what's the
Chernobyl?
Chernobyl?
it was in between
Chernobyl.
Hot tub time machine.
It was in between. It's in the Ural Mountains, divides Europe and Asia.
Interesting.
Asia's pretty damn big. So
You know what? So if you're in that well, it's cold, but if you're in that territory, you know what else you have there that you don't have anywhere else? Tigers.
You know what? You go
In
out
the
doing
cold,
something
though?
like that, you
Yeah.
kind of deserve whatever's coming. You know what I mean? Like,
You haven't seen the white tigers there?
why the fuck would
You
you be
deserve
out there doing
you deserve
that
to lose
shit?
your eyes, your lips, and your tongue.
Hey man,
It was
you're
negative
like
20
out in these like random
Celsius.
mountains, like
Holy crap! That's like
Bro,
Antarctica.
you know on the
Here's
way
my
to Mount
question.
Everest, they're just dead bodies. They're just
Yeah,
like, oh, you pass, like, oh,
why are you
hey,
doing
Those
that?
are
there's a guy
landfills.
that didn't make it.
They do. They call they're landmarks. Like
Yeah.
they don't bring them down. They actually consider each one of those areas landmarks for.
Yeah, you're not gonna go get them just for that. It's
Call
like
them
you're there.
milestones.
they found
They're there
one
for
boot.
motivation.
They found what?
One boot.
Was there a foot in it?
No, they say that they had. He saw footprints made by 8 or 9 people who were wearing socks, a single boot, or were barefoot. And the tracks continued for 5 to 10 meters, and then they disappeared.
But there were no bear tracks.
5 to 10 meters.
The
So
bear covered its tracks.
Barefoot.
here's the other thing is
It
so
snowed.
I was just gonna say if
if
it covered the tent up, enough snow came.
No, but they were frozen. The footprints were frozen, so that's how he noticed them. I mean, a bear weighs a whole lot more than.
Oh hell yeah!
I don't know.
You
A
know
lot of
me.
people that were there didn't figure it out.
The
I'm
bear
not
was
gonna
light
do it
on
here
his
on
feet.
this
For
podcast.
real, like, but it was negative 20 degrees Celsius. They said.
Jeez.
Negative
Nope,
20
I'm out.
degrees Celsius.
I'm out.
That's impossible. Like that's almost impossible.
I'm out.
That you're out for.
Yeah. Why would I want to subject myself to that?
So have you heard the other? Well, since we're bouncing back and forth on all of that, have you heard the other poor information, Brandon, that affects only you and I in this group?
That sounds pretty good.
yeah,
they're-
I don't know. I don't know what we're
The
talking
CDC
about.
is recommending we remove our beards to protect ourselves from the
Oh,
coronavirus.
Scott already did that. Conspiracy theory. Scott removed
I think
his for that reason.
Scott knew it ahead of time, so therefore
I
he
think-
must be one of the wealthy people.
I
Then
think
explain
that-
to me how China has it.
I think the CDC. Well, they can't grow.
They have
They
500,000
can't grow
people that
facial hair.
that have no
Look
hair.
at me. I'm like,
So that explains it. When the hell were you going to let us in on this?
Man, dude, I'm a visionary.
He showed up the other day. We made fun of him for probably
You know
an
what that
hour.
tells me? The CDC is following our podcast.
Probably.
that wouldn't be a bad idea.
I would be.
Why not?
I would be.
I also follow our podcast.
I just started.
I'm
CDB,
a full-time
DB.
government official.
You know, CDC, DBSB.
Yeah,
Just kind of they go together.
So
Right on.
I'm just kind of throwing this out there. We can or don't necessarily have to, but does anyone have any rants this week? So basically what this is we have a chance. It's usually towards Karen. Everybody knows a Karen. They tend to complain about a lot of things. Essentially, we have a
CEO's
rant.
wife's name's Karen.
You should-
There
She's
you
really
go.
sweet, just in case you're watching.
Yeah, totally. Karen. We're talking about the other Karen, not
Yeah.
you.
Not that Karen. There's
Not
only
you.
there's only one Karen
One.
out there.
Yeah, that we're
and
talking
she
to.
knows who the fuck she is.
Right?
Or Kenny is the male version, and we just if you got something you want to rant about, something that pisses you off every once in a while.
Do you have anything, Michael? Do you have a rant? So some of the past ones have been people piss poor in the turn lane, people who shave or put on makeup in the car,
people picking their nose in the
it-
car.
way too deep
Lots
of
of things
inappropriate
about the car.
conversations
Yeah.
in public.
Oh yeah, people who talk about having how the sex was with their husband that morning, like stuff like that I don't need to know about.
No, I mean, the list. I mean, honestly, I don't leave my house unless I travel. If I could say one thing, everybody that's on the damn airplane is that person, because you get on the airplane so damn quick because you're in some big ass rush to get on. How the fuck can't you figure out how to put the left foot in front of the right and get off the same plane just as fast?
Yep.
Right.
That's probably my biggest pet peeve from travel, just because I travel. Because
Oh, mine is when it's like, dude, stand up,
Yes.
grab your damn bag,
And
get
go.
ready, and get your ass out the way.
exactly, that's
I hate
That's
it
a good one.
I hate it when
I-
you're in the back and the dude next to you just immediately stands up, grabs their bag, and then is just like blocking everything.
Or just lets everybody.
What do
in
you
the
mean
world.
blocking everything?
Just
Just
he won't
block
get
it all.
out.
Moves
They
up
won't
one
move, so
moves
you
up
can't
one
get
more
up,
seat,
you know.
and then just stands there.
Yeah.
Or the one that runs from the back about 8 rows and then gets stopped by the other guy standing in the middle of the aisle.
Oh, I was about to say, I'm the person it hits. I literally get up, grab my stuff, and I stand in the aisle waiting for shit to get moving. Like, I'm up and ready to go.
He's that guy.
I just flew
I'm
back.
the one prepping. What?
Right?
This is what we're talking about.
Like, who
You just
wants
want
to-
to sit there on your ass?
But
You're
you're-
the person that we're talking about. Sitting there with your thumb up your ass. It's like, okay, now it's time to go. Oh, let me
And
get
they're-
my 2 kids together.
But he's at the back of the plane.
Charlotte, grab your stuff.
I
Alana,
don't-
can
I
you
don't
get all
ride-
those
I don't ride
things?
first class like these doctors. I mean,
You know this mofo. He's making
Here's
making
here's
Alana
where
carry everything.
here's where I agree with him though, because you're at the back of the plane. You're not
Who's
getting
at the
off.
back of the plane.
Like, what's the rush?
He is. That's what the conversation
Oh,
is.
so-
So the person.
Well, I don't have
the
the problem with those people.
yeah, because you're up front.
But
this
even
this motherfucker writes me one day. You know where he's staying in Vegas?
where
The Hangover Suite.
On me?
Yeah. So he's
you
like,
stay at the suite from the movie.
yes. He sends me pictures. And so his dad was there before he was, and they were getting ready, like they were going out there to do a conference. And he's like, "Oh yeah, Dad's got the Hangover Suite." And like I was like, "What?" He sends me a picture. The actual Hangover Suite is like right there in front of him. I'm like, this dude travels way too much.
Just a little bit. just a little bit.
He's like, yeah, I got that all off points.
Oh, it was free.
Well, Dad was already in there.
Yeah, I mean, between him or I,
doing?
he has a.
Bro, I'm getting comfortable.
Dude,
I tried to. That's the same thing. I got long legs. I kept
Motherfucker, I'm gonna
running.
put you over here on the end, and then we'll talk about shit.
You got these 2 bars that go in between the
Yeah.
legs. Yeah.
over here.
I'm over here dancing with
I
my
got
seat.
8-foot legs compared to your 2-foot legs, and there's some bars over here. That okay?
Maybe we need
Yes,
to cut.
it's okay.
Maybe we just need to get the bottoms cut out there, so that way you can roll forward. In
It
between
wouldn't
the
have
bottoms.
mattered. I would have hit it either way.
I love these tables. I just have to get them set back up again. We've
So was there a
rotated so
tiger
many
still in
times.
the bathroom, or were you good?
No,
Mike Tyson.
I mean, not before I went to bed. I can't say what happened, from the time I got back and actually fell asleep.
I
So
wish-
the rule was correct. What happened in Vegas
it's
stayed
like,
in Vegas.
I did look before I went to bed.
What would have
and it
been
was not
even more
there.
funny is if you would have sent me a video of you walking in there with the from Mike Tyson. Oh, hold on, I love this
forgot.
part. I love this part.
I love this point.
This is my favorite part.
Dude, that guy's got a podcast.
He also
Hot
has
boxing-
an Adult Swim
hot boxing
cartoon
with Mike
show.
Tyson.
Yeah, that,
He also has an Adult Swim
Where he
cartoon
just
show.
brings people in, they get high as shit in his studio, and they
right.
talk.
We need to hang out with Mike Tyson.
And then everybody just stands at the window and watches them
Yeah.
the entire time. I've seen it
I'm
like
in.
one time. I'm like,
All right,
this is
so who's gonna sacrifice their face for the face tattoo just to get in with Mike Tyson?
sorry,
Not it. Well, it leaves you.
Nope. Nose goes, bitch.
It's not fair. Yours is bigger than all the rest of us. You don't have to go so far.
He was last.
That's what she said.
Oh man. So did you have a rant? Oh, that was yours. You were the
Yeah.
standing up in the.
I jumped on the plane.
Yeah, he's literally the
I'll give you a plane
person
rant.
that drives
Give me a
me
plane rant.
I'll give you a
insane.
plane rant. I'll give you a couple of plane rants.
Oh, here we go. We got him riled
I
up.
think the plane rants are the best ones. Right
Come
now.
on, Karen.
I hate the fact.
Travel rants. Yeah.
I hate the fact that you get on a plane on a land-to-land trip,
Mhm.
and they're telling you about the flotation device.
Right.
The way I see it is that's kind of like having a goddamn parachute on a boat.
No, touche to that one. I agree.
There's
Hey, I can
Probably
float away.
you need that
I can
thing.
I can repel that sucker and float away.
Float
But
away.
still, yeah.
There ain't no
Just take
water
me up in
underneath
there.
you, bro. Where are you floating to?
You set a parachute on a boat. If the boat's on fire, about to run into something, I'm gonna jack that parachute. It's gonna suck me up off of that. It could
he went
still,
the wrong way with this.
He's
I MacGyvered you.
I know.
Yeah.
Listen, it's because I could take
I
anything
got what
and
you
make
He
it
just needs
work
a roll of
somehow.
electrical tape and a
Yeah.
parachute. He's good.
It's okay. I have my Swiss Army knife and a paperclip.
But
make it work.
on the plane, right? Like,
Nuclear.
Yeah.
I don't
This is
want
how I
people
made it.
knowing where the emergency exits are or how to open them. Like people are stupid.
It's not like you listen anyway.
Yeah, I got.
Like I sit there and I watch the flight attendants and I'm like, is this one gonna like crack or are we good here? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Is this one gonna crack?
Well, think of it. They're the only ones that control the doors.
Yeah, because they're the ones that take fucking forever to get the damn door open when you're trying to get off the plane.
That's why.
Yeah,
that's
what
why
would
we wait
happen
there
in
for.
that situation is it's like, oh, we're still waiting for your ass that's over there going, no, it's not my turn yet. I'm
Yes,
not going to
sir, guys.
stand up.
My bag's in the back.
Uh-huh.
I'm on the 17th.
Oh, yeah,
my
that's
bag's
the-
in 26.
That's another one that gets me is like, oh, my bag's back. I'm like, shit.
I'm like, you better
You
wait
know,
then.
The other thing
Yeah,
that trips
yes.
me
Your
out
ass down and wait.
is they put these flotation devices under the seats.
Under the seats.
You know how many fucking asses are sitting in those seats that are farting on that damn plane? If you're like struggling for
In a
dear life,
life-saving situation, do you
is
think
what I'm
you
gonna
give
do.
a
I
shit?
want to hug this fart stinking
If it saves your life, do
cushion-
you give a shit?
dude. I might.
I mean,
Bullshit. If it
I
saves your
might-
life, you ain't gonna give a shit.
I don't know.
I mean,
It could literally have shit
Like,
on it, and
hey,
you're not
it
gonna
smells
give a
like
shit.
ass, but I'm alive.
I might have
Just
a-
smell it.
just one type of like, yeah, that's the one I wouldn't take. I'll tread water. We'll see how long I can.
How
last.
much do you wish you'd have been on that JetBlue plane the day that flight attendant, the male flight attendant, like told everybody to go F themselves, walked out the back,
Oh,
pulled.
I didn't see this.
You
I've
didn't
seen
see-
a lot of
this
stuff.
this is like 4 years ago, but the JetBlue attendant, he like walks to the back, he like flips everybody off, screams at the staff and all of that stuff, pulls out the back end the chute, the little slide, dumps down it and walks off the airstrip. Like goes back in, checks out, leaves. They go arrest him at his home like 4 hours later. Is
For
when
what?
they detain. Well, because apparently there was a lot of federal regulations.
I was about to say, there's a lot of shit that goes on with that I'm sure you could get in trouble for.
I
You
mean,
can't really peace out like that. It's
I don't
not
know.
good for business
my-
either.
Apparently, my son's school teachers can.
Really?
Yeah.
Story time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Didn't he just go to first day of school today?
Yeah.
And shit's
We
already
already-
gone down. Let's hear it.
Yeah. So,
He already
So-
ran the teachers off.
yeah. So, trying to find a school for him.
Macklin's the man.
Dude, he is some, yeah. He's 2, going on 22, acts about just like that, and so, you want to go to school? Yeah. All right. So, we had been to the school probably 7 times, just talking to the owner and seeing the teachers. And, my first initial impression was teachers don't show up in pajamas. Like, I ain't paying for, daycare. Like, I want him to be physically learning something and getting
Right.
a social, environment. So we went and looked around at like Primrose, a bunch of other ones, and
Yeah.
I had nothing wrong with them. I did in like one place because it looked like they were doing UFC, WWE Battle Royal in this room, and it was the greatest thing I'd ever seen. But I'm not letting my son go in there.
You're like,
I want to
awesome,
go there.
but not for him.
Yeah, exactly. And you got kids running.
How
out
do
of
I
rooms.
enroll here?
Yeah, exactly. And so I go today, and we're dropping him off, and meet with the owner, and she doesn't say a word, and we go back to the room, and I'm like, that's definitely not either of the teachers that we met just like a month ago, 2 weeks ago, and so I didn't say anything, and so I asked her after we dropped him off, and he's screaming bloody murder like somebody was
No,
trying.
mom.
Oh man, it was a nightmare. So we go up and she's like, I was like, so what happened to the other teacher? I didn't even know what her name was. And because she said she'd been with her for years. And she's like, well, her and the director got into it. I'm like, okay. And that means what? She's like, she left. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. She's like, but it was middle of the day. And I'm like, excuse me? What? So my son was in, wait, what? And she's like, yeah, then the director quit the same day. I'm like, so the two get in an argument and they both quit. I'm like,
Yeah.
how does that work out?
Everybody
didn't work
packed up
out
their
good.
shit and went home.
Yeah, and
It
she's-
didn't work out good. I can tell
No,
you
and
that.
I'm like sitting there. I'm like, how do you leave a room full of children
Yeah.
or like toddlers just by walked out? I'm
You're
like,
a fucking grown ass adult.
right. And then now you want a job at the school district. Good luck. I bet you get a real good chance now. But I mean, I'm paying somebody's mortgage over here for him to go to school. I'm like, I don't expect you people to walk out and quit. Jeez.
Oh man,
Just saying.
that's fantastic.
Yeah. So that's what you got to look
Wow.
forward to.
Scott, have you ever just walked out on a job like that?
No,
No, nothing. Not even like McDonald's when you were 13.
no.
Oh,
I give notice every time.
why?
I don't think I have either.
I don't know.
They
And
can't
I was-
track you if you don't put them on. You don't put them on your.
You know what's funny?
your
Like, I
resume.
was talking to a buddy about this the other day, and it's funny because Texas is a right to work state, and when us the employees leave, we got to give 2 weeks notice. But when they fire you,
There's nothing.
there's not even finishing the day.
Right.
Like, what's up with that?
And I may even take a job and offer 2 weeks notice, and you're just gonna like, nah, you're good.
Yeah, I was about to say that side of it happens too, where they're like, "Nah, we're good. If you already want to be out of here, we don't want you around here."
I'm in sales. That's
I
pretty
just
much
did that to someone.
exclusively.
Right.
And that's okay. You know, I mean, the thing is, just too many people know each other. Like,
Right.
Oh yeah.
you know, people start talking, and if there's, you just, I don't know, it's just not worth it for 2 weeks. And
I
if
think
the
I've only
company
done
that
it
you're
for one
going
job.
to, if the company that you're going to wants you to leave without giving 2 weeks, it doesn't say much about them either.
I mean, I think if it's a job like a job just over broke, you know, that's how I equate a job. You know, like not something you're projecting your career to be in.
Yep.
I'm not going to put you down my resume to begin with unless it was a necessity.
I think the only one I ever quit like that was the Army.
Man, you just never know.
Like it was the end of my contract. I
Somebody
didn't
else
tell anybody.
changes
I just
career
left.
paths.
But I've been
You're like,
with the same
I'm
company
out.
for 18,
No,
19
I
years.
get
So
it.
that's
And
that's
you can
probably
say
why.
that.
I didn't know that's how that works. So
I don't
My
know.
contract was up. I didn't show up to work the next
Just
day.
those powers of the universe, man. Like, you just never know when.
I've
you're
only
gonna
done it
run
once.
into
I did
people
it to
again.
Taco Bell when I was in high school. I went to go tour colleges with a buddy of mine and was like, they're like, "Where are you?" And I was like, "I'm in New Mexico. I'm not there." So they're like, "Well, if you don't show up, you can't work." And I'm like,
No
"Well,
shit.
I'm a little ways away." So and they're
Well, I can't do it from here.
I was a manager for a retail establishment, and I had hired a kid that I have become very, very good friends with still today. He's a pilot in the United States Air Force currently, and he was finishing up college at LSU. And I called him. I'm like, "Hey man, like you gonna show up to work today?" He's like, "I'm in Cincinnati, riding dirt bikes." Like, what? This was like the second or third time he'd done it. I was like, "Jake, like you're done. Like you're it's done. You don't come in and get your last pay
over.
stub. It's over. We're not doing this anymore."
It's not me, it's you.
I mean, it's you.
Yeah, I'm not. I am now working a double at our retail establishment because of you, and I did not want to do that today.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to work either. I wanted to be in Cincinnati riding dirt bikes.
Yeah.
Right.
You're like, "Hey man, that's where I wanted to be." Shit.
That's where I was going when I left work
Yeah.
in Baton Rouge.
Son of a bitch.
That's 1,100 mile round or one way trip.
How about you, Rance?
I don't think I have anything. I was thinking earlier today, and I was like, man, I'm not. I just wasn't prepared.
Okay, that's fine.
You're just a happy person.
No rants about movers, no rants about
I can't say anything about our movers. Our movers have been.
Remember his house is going to be done when he gets back.
Our movers were fantastic. They
listen, stuff can happen. I'm just,
So this was
everything was great except they ruined a family. Like stuff can happen. You don't have to say the company. I'm just saying. I was just curious.
I would say the company, but they're not sponsoring us yet. But
But
Better
you
get
could
with
be,
it. Lost opportunity.
they are the
which
they're-
we're about to go into here in a minute.
They're
It's
an
gonna be
official
great.
movers of the Cowboys, and they still did a good job.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
This crew that actually moved us this time moved us to the house that we moved out of. So they all
So you went back to them again, obviously, because good business.
and the same crew nonetheless. Like
Oh,
they're a
same guys.
huge,
Nice.
they're a huge like United States company, and they like coast to coast. And-
like Louisiana coast or like the real
yeah, the East Coast, like Louisiana.
Yeah, like up to Canada, down to
Right. This guy gets it. This
Come
guy gets
on.
it from the top to the bottom.
Yeah,
In the bottom to the
you're
top.
always going left to right. We're thinking top to bottom.
Yeah.
Up and down.
You're square. You're staying inside the box.
If
man.
I'm looking at her, I'm
Think
not
outside
looking
the
at her from left to
box.
right. I'm going top to bottom. See, I got you.
Up and down.
There you go.
High five.
Yeah. See,
Go team.
there's always an easy way to go around and explain it somehow. No, man, I was just curious with the whole process. You never know with that whole situation. So Jason just moved, so just curious.
How about
That's
you?
all.
How about
Dr.
you?
B?
Man, I was thinking about this. I am just gonna put.
There's got to be a TikTok guy that he has to bring up because we're a ways in. And he hasn't said those words yet.
No, we talked about that earlier, just about some stuff that was trending with the coronavirus and Lyme disease and people making that joke. And I'm like, oh, that's like the 12th video I've seen. That's that joke. It's played out. People stop.
It's a duet.
Hey,
It's
at
a
least you know
duet.
what that is.
I've listened to enough TikTok episodes of the Don't Be So Brewed podcast that I know what it is by now. I've been in several of them with Scott.
You have.
I learn a lot about my profession actually from TikTok by what people say, like what their experience is. Like, I started this VIP group for my office, so it's the migraine doc. It's kind of my brand. I've got a VIP group that's like where I spend a lot of my time. I engage with them. I do giveaways and stuff there. And I threw out the question the other day, like, what's the I asked what one of the biggest obstacles was when it comes to, overcoming their migraine. Like, what's the issue with that or any sort of health issue? Like, I started talking about some of that stuff and then just their experience. And I think I asked a follow-up question later that was similar to that of like, I hear a lot of times that people struggle, when it comes to working with doctors and doing all this stuff, like, what's your experience? And so for me, I try to help them, but I also gain knowledge from that of like, what are you guys having to say about this? And a lot of this stuff was like, man, I don't want to go in and listen to another doc, not listen to me, maybe never even look at me potentially, ignore everything that I'm saying, just offer up the same solution again with whatever it is. Like the thing that I hear the most is like, they just don't listen to me. And so that's one of my big things that I hang my hat on is like, I'm going to sit there and listen to you. I'm going to let you get all that stuff out. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to sit there and connect and let you feel like, because I get that. I understand where you're coming from. I've done enough research now on that market. Like, and I had a wife that was similar to that of like, you just go to people, you get kind of looked over. They think, your friends think you're crazy. Your doctors probably also think you're crazy. Like, shit's probably just in her head. She just wants more medications. Like they hear that stuff too. Like you're just searching for more drugs and shit. It's like, actually, I'm not. I would prefer to actually not do that. So mine is just the doctor should be better. Just that's why you got into it. And I get it. You're allowed to have shitty days too. You're allowed to do that stuff. But in what I do, it's not that hard for me to sit there and listen to someone, just ask them a few questions and talk to them. And it's not like I'm sitting there spending an hour and they feel like it was so good. I'm like, I spend like 5-10 minutes just kind of digging into a couple things. I'm like, cool, this is what we're going to do. And then when they leave, normally that's the comment I get, almost like you were talking about with your experience with that lady that left a voicemail with you in your business. It's like, thank you for spending so much time with attention to detail. Thanks for caring and actually listening to me. I felt like this was the first place that I've gone to. I'm like, it's not that hard. That's originally what you got into this for, was to be able to help people and to take care of them. And then somewhere along the lines, you just got fed up with dealing with people and you became a shithead.
Was that after corporations took over? Now everything's a revolving door. You have to see as many patients as possible, because that's, I was talking to a surgeon that, and he used to be, I guess, one of the top doctors in Dallas. And he said, in order to maintain my income, I'd have to see, he said, some off the wall number of patients per day. He's like, because it's corporate ran now. He's like, everything's a revolving door. You're no different than like urgent care at this point.
Bob Kelso.
And again, I was about
Scrubs.
to say, it's what you talk about. It's that system of like, there's people up above you that are like, hey, bitch, you work for me. And we've got a system here. And in order for the system to run. And so there's a little bit on the docs. But again, I guess you're right. I could step even further than that of like, it's part of the system that we're in. It's fucked up. It's screwed up. We've got to do stuff to.
The insurance companies and all of that stuff have done that. And I said it last week with when Kenneth and we were all talking politics. You don't have to continue putting laws on the books to make a difference. Sometimes it's getting rid of worthless ones. Get rid of something that inhibits me from doing my job. So I guess I'll caveat off your rant, because theirs went both on the air traffic, because I had a very similar instance. And we have a guest that's probably going to come on
Sweet.
Probably the next few months. And it's an actual doctor of mine. And the things that she's provided that I truly believe have changed my life for me. And it took about 2 years of me seeing doctors and asking for blood work panels and going through stuff. And doctors were continually telling me, like, you're within the boundaries. Like, you're good. Like,
you're searching out these answers because you don't feel like you're getting everything that you want, and you're trying to do this. And they're like, you're okay.
Yeah, you're okay. You're okay here. And like, I sit
it's
down.
more work for them to try to do that.
Well, and from insurance standards, like, if you're inside this range,
which
or
is
if
such bullshit,
even
because
if you're
sometimes ranges, especially for the stuff that you're going to get care for,
right?
Like the actual range of like testosterone shit goes crazy.
Like,
it's like, as long as you're in the range of like 48 to 12,000, you're good.
Yeah.
I'm like, what kind of fucking range is that?
What the problem is, man? The insurance companies are enabling the bad practices, right? So if the insurance companies didn't pay all the additional premiums for the healthcare,
right,
what would it really cost?
They could also get there's a bunch of lawsuits that happened last year where patients actually filed claims against the office or facility for the healthcare for overbilling. And so my mom,
that shit'll happen too.
They do that on purpose,
dude. They'll double bill shit all the time.
And if you tell them, and they let they was pretty much was a whistleblower on it. They told my mom was telling me about this. She runs she works for Experian, their health system. She handles all of she oversees all of their medical billing. So
So she sees the credit stuff that comes through.
and I had a code that went off, going for my son, and I'm like, why is this one random appointment like $700? I'm like, I don't even pay for it, but I'm seeing you billing my insurance company for $700. So I gave her a little code for it, and she's like, that should only be like $150. So they're doing that enough to where
they're gaming the system.
So
at a high level.
And you can for sure.
And all insurances do that. So we bought a new house, so we were getting new homeowners insurance for it, and our homeowners insurance went up exponentially from our house that we owned in Louisiana. Like it was like 4 or 5 times the amount.
Shit.
And the question was, well, why? And they said, well, you had a claim. Well, in 2016, we were living just outside Baton Rouge. We had a horrific Harvey-like event that happened there. They took like 63 inches of rain in 30 days, 36 in the last 24 hours of that time. Like the River Nile would have flooded like the same way. It was not necessarily, it had nothing to do with us like low land or anything like that. Like a lot of people said, we just took an ungodly amount of rain in a very short period of time. My wife was 38, 39 weeks pregnant. We had my son 5 days after we were able to finally evacuate our house from that time. They shut the city and the state actually shut off our power grid. Like everybody lost all their power at the same time. So we made a claim on food. Like our house didn't get wrecked or anything like that, but we made a claim on, I had literally just bought a butchered hog and a half a cow in our freezer. Like, I had brand new venison in there that I had gotten in. And then all our regular foodstuffs that was in there. And we made like a $500 claim or something, like minimal at best. And from 2016 to now, that actually took USAA of all places, like jacked my homeowner's insurance up like 5 times.
Jesus. And that's, it's shitty on both sides. Like, believe me, I have people that reach out to me all the time. And they're like, hey, so we got this ability to get you all these clients. Okay, what's the catch? Well, we work with these personal injury, which this is why people hate personal injury when it comes to chiropractors, this whole system, because they game the shit out of this. Yeah. And they're like, so here's the thing. If we're going to send you these people, I need you to be able to build these 7 codes. And it's, again, like we're talking about, it's like, these are the ones that we know, and you can hit these every time. Like, can you build these every time? And it's like, technically, you're the person who's talking to me. I'm like, you're not a doctor. You're not allowed to dictate that. You're not allowed to set up care. Like, you're just making shit up. Like, you're asking me to facilitate and make sure that things match up. It's like, hey, can you make sure that this shows up on the notes? Because if you can, and then this is a 3 instead of a 2, then we can do this. And it's
their art history degree is really qualified that for.
And I straight
Sorry,
up
art
every
history
time,
majors.
I'm like, no, I got these 2 codes, dude. This one, if we're doing this, and they're just like, well, that's not going to work. This is what we got to do. And I'm like, cool. Then I don't need your shit. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm like, technically what you're doing is fraud. Like, you're not allowed to do, yet there's people who do it. And it's, it's the system. Like, lawyers just laugh whenever I send in bills for my stuff, because people will bill for personal injury, for accidents. Chiropractors will submit $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 bills. Easily.
Well, that's the first person they go see. Because
for sure,
your neck and your back's the hardest thing.
Well, and it's if I get linked up with a lawyer and they're going to connect you to me, and we can do this, and we can really build up this case and do all this stuff. It's like, we're going to make a lot of money, and you're going to get about $7,000, and you feel great about that, right? And it's like, cool. The lawyer cleaned up 10, the chiropractor cleaned up 25. It's like, it's crazy.
And you're the one in the accident got 7.
Yep. And some people get even worse than that, man. Like,
this is why we call ourselves the doctors.
That are like, that get nothing. Like, I've seen stuff like that too, where people get screwed over. Like, it could be a really shitty situation.
Really shitty. Scott's been really quiet this episode. He has not been a fan of our topic choices.
No, it's been fine.
Well, so one of the new things that we want to do is we have this game that we want to play, and you guys know we're looking for sponsors, but you guys need us to prove our worth, right? So we need to show you that we can sell your shit.
I can sell your shit.
So in order to do that, we have this game called Clickbait, and essentially what this is you're gonna get 30 seconds. I guess I'll set a timer on my phone.
Like process?
No, I'm gonna hand you this, and you're gonna sell this shit.
And pitch.
Yep.
Who are we selling it to? We just selling it to the camera?
Yeah. No, I'm just gonna give you one. So we're gonna get him on his game real quick.
Like the OxyClean ShamWow guy?
Yeah. So these are literally just random products, and Scott. And then we're gonna hand this to him. Yeah, we're gonna hand this to him, Scott's going to tell you what it is that he's doing, and then he's got 30 seconds, and I'll have
I gotta tell you straight up what I'm trying to sell, or I can go
you can
into
say
it.
what it
Sell
is
it however
and
you
then
want.
go.
It's not taboo.
It's not taboo. Okay.
Oh wow.
So let me
No buzzer.
get my stopwatch here. You
The
got
official
30
timer?
seconds. This is how
So
we're
the
going to show
30
you how
sec-
we can sell anything.
So the 30 seconds is for him to be planning, or is that how
No,
long he
he's
has to
30
pitch it?
seconds.
I'm ready
is his
when
pitch.
you're ready. I'm ready when you're ready.
All right.
Go. So today on the Don't Be So Brewed podcast, we have an incredibly special offer for one-on-one lightsaber training. Okay, this is something that is just, you want to bring out your inner Jedi. I mean, it's just, there's nothing else like it in the world. It's here in Dallas. It's now buy one, get one. Okay, buy one, get one. $19.99. You get 1 hour of lightsaber training. Dr. Brown is going to be there with you. He's going to show you how to use your light stick. No problem. How am I? My 30 seconds?
Yeah, you hit your 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You had a buy one get one special in there, so that means there's
It's
four.
one-on-one.
Does that mean 4 people get to go? So it's 1-on-1.
You know what? For
That
this
was the-
sponsor, yes.
That was the
absolutely.
greatest. That was the
Wow.
best.
That's kind of fun. I like that.
That's
I
fun.
like
That
this.
was good.
This is literally just a random thing that I saw at Target. This is the best investment I think I've ever made.
Okay. I got to
So
go
that's-
down, or that's
no,
it?
this is
Okay.
Jason. Tell me when you're ready.
All right, I'm ready.
That one's got me stumped.
Does it? You do that.
So I'm Jason. I'm here for the higher relative service. Do you have a problem? Do you want to hear more about it? And do you want to hear more about how Uncle Joe thinks that problem should not be a problem? Call us now. Uncle Joe, your Uncle Joe, that very same Uncle Joe who always wants chicken parmesan and wants to tell you that your house isn't clean enough, is going to be over there to hire and clean your house.
What's that number? Give it to him.
1-800-HIREYOU. Hire you for our higher relative service.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Hire you. That was,
I like that.
that's actually
thinking
7
there,
on there. I was
you know?
like,
You want to take a
I even
shot
had-
here, or come on, man?
I even had enough numbers. I got
I was like,
really
I was
lucky.
like,
there.
wow. I was like, that's good.
Is Michael doing this one?
Yeah, I think Michael's
I
got
You
think,
wanna
I
do
think-
one?
I think Michael needs to do this one.
I was
Pass it
gonna
across.
go, but this is
Oh,
a good
yeah,
one.
you can go for it if you want. I'll take it last.
That's a good one.
That's That's already
Oh, you
there.
can totally do that.
That's a good one.
Come on, you got this.
There's even a commercial. Just repeat.
I was
I
already
don't
ready to go.
watch any TV.
I was already ready to go.
Oh,
I'm
if you
like,
already ready
I
to
know
go.
we got a lot of farmers that are.
Oh, it's all you. You take it because I don't. I have.
He'll do the next one.
I'll do the next.
Oh yeah, you definitely have to do that one.
Or maybe not.
I should have to do that because that actually.
No, you can't do two. You just.
I mean, you could do
You're
all.
doing farmers. You wanted
Do it.
farmers.
Here's the thing. Do you want the one that you already know, or do you want this one?
I'll take the one I don't. Why not?
Okay. So I'll give you that one.
We'll
All
find out in
right,
a
tell me
minute.
when you're ready.
Sure, go for it.
Go.
Hey, this is Dr. B here with the Don't Be So Brewed podcast. And listen, I know we have a lot of farmers that are out there watching this show. And you know what you're trying to do? You're trying to find that special someone, that significant other that you've been looking for, the person to sit out there and ride on your big green tractor with you, the person that can sit there on the back porch, sipping some sweet tea and just looking out at the pastures and going, hey, hon, is that a UFO? And we're going to help you find that person. We've got dating website for farmers.
What is that website?
What is that website? Yeah.
It's not farmers only. See, everyone knows about farmers only. This is alwaysfarmers.com.
Always farmers.
Alwaysfarmers.com, where you can find your significant other. Thanks for sponsoring the Don't Be So Brewed podcast.
Is this our last one, or are we gonna do this for the next hour?
we can go through again.
We should just have a
This is
clickbait.
the best. Like
All
this
right.
is I want that service inside my office.
Okay, ready?
Oh, wait.
Ready?
Oh man.
Give him a go.
I tried to tell you. I would have traded you. Did you see it?
Yeah, I did.
Well, oh.
I want y'all to comment.
These are the noises that you're gonna make when.
This is going to be a hit. I love this.
I mean,
This is the
isn't-
one guy who says he's not the
Come on,
salesman
you can
on
do
the,
it.
at
I'm
the
not,
table.
I train. See, that's the difference. I don't. I just.
Those who can't do teach.
I sell. I just choose not to. See, I did teach them how to do it, and but I provide benefits. That's a difference.
See?
This is not a benefit.
Well, it can.
It is. It does sound like a benefit.
Depends how
Yeah,
far
you know
along
about the
get.
benefits of that. I mean,
You don't need Thai massage.
the happy ending's weird, but
you know what?
That's where I thought your head would have
Do you
gone.
not want to do it? I mean, what are you going to do?
That's where I thought his head would have gone.
Oh boy.
I mean, their tagline is "We'll beat your meat." So
All right. So who's doing it? One of us is doing this one. At this point.
I will literally get myself castrated when I get home.
all right, apparently Jason's gonna go for this. Let me know when you're ready, Jason.
All right. Ready?
Yep.
This is Jason here for the Spalding Boxing Glove Massage Only location here in Richardson, Texas.
At the specific chiropractic
This
centers.
slash the specific chiropractic, where we're willing to beat your meat.
Listen,
Are you interested in a tie?
this is a dual one. So if you heard of the new technique called boxing massage,
Boxing glove massage.
so listen, this is a new thing. Scott's actually been out running classes and teaching ladies how to do this. It's real simple. You go to Walmart, you buy some of those big red gloves, you put them on, you put a little bit of grease on them,
and
you go to town.
too. The old one too.
It works out perfect. Your husband's always asking for that massage. He always wants to get that rub down. And you know what? You're probably pissed at him.
There's a little
so you
aggression
know
to
what
get
you
out.
can do? You can just lube up those gloves and go to town on him. And you'll get some aggression out, and he gets a massage. It's a win-win. Couples boxing glove massage. Thank you for supporting the Don't Be So Brewed podcast.
That was a whole lot better than what I would have.
That one was difficult too when I started because I was like, man, I'm going to repeat the same stuff that just came.
Yes. These are fantastic.
All right, let me know when you're ready.
Whenever you start, I'll start it.
All right. Today on the Don't Be So Brewed podcast, we have got a brand new sponsor we are excited to tell you about. It's called Grow Your Own Fruit Friend. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. Think of all the different people you could keep away if you had your very own fruit friend. It would be absolutely amazing.
Yeah, you don't even have to eat him. He just is there with you to keep all that bad stuff away.
That's right. It's much more fun to play with your fruit than to eat your fruit.
What's that website code they need to use?
GrowYourOwnFruitFriend.com.
Oh, I got this next one, and it's gonna be. I think
Oh,
this
that
will be
one's
fun.
fantastic because of all the jokes we make on this podcast.
Yeah.
That one is so perfect. You
All
can
right.
switch
Tell me
it.
when.
You could switch it to my profession if you need
last
to.
Oh no,
That
I'm gonna
would be
use your
hilarious.
profession in there.
Oh yes, this is gonna be so. Whenever you start, I'll start it.
Okay. Are you a chiropractor? Are you tired of people telling you you're not a real doctor? Because you're probably not if you're a chiropractor. Well, come visit our Groupon site at 30daydentistdegree.com, where you can get your dental degree in 30 days and be a legit doctor. Not one of those silly fly-by-night chiropractic doctors, a real doctor. Don't be going to getting in that back cracking business. Put some crowns on them teeth.
Put some crowns on those frowns. Come on.
Okay, I'm gonna end it with this. This is money. I gotta
Last
do
one.
this.
Doesn't Mint Dentistry do that though?
I
They
don't
really do have like a 6-week program to be.
Do they
to
really?
become like your dental assistant? So I'm like, that's not much farther to go.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So we'd like to give a huge thank you to this last sponsor. They've actually helped one of our members here immensely. Scott, we know that you've really been struggling with your memory lately. You know, you've had a lot of things. You've been burning it at both ends, and you've really had a hard time keeping it all together. But your memory lately has been fantastic. You've been sharp as a tack, and it's really been amazing to see. And that is all thanks to Improve Your Memory Underwear. So we want to make sure that we give them a shout out. We're so grateful. If you guys are struggling with your memory and you're trying to figure out why, you just need some Improve Your Memory Underwear. So make sure you go to improveyourmemoryunderwear.com. Use the promo code Don't Be So Brewed Underwear 10, and you will get a 10% discount code.
If you can remember to put your underwear on in the morning, the rest of the day is smooth sailing.
I had to do it because it was so perfect. I was like, I know how the angle I'm going to use on this, because that's what all these other podcasts do, is they're like, oh, hey, man, this thing's been working great for me. I love using this. I'm like, I got to do it. That is fantastic. That's
a fun
one of the best ideas.
That's a
I
fun.
like that.
That's a fun game.
That's not going anywhere.
Nope.
That'll stay
I thought for
right
real, I was
here.
like, hey, listen, this is always the thing. We always tell people, whatever you want to do, you want to come support us, we can sell whatever it is. We'll talk about whatever it is. We don't even care. And I'm like, here's a perfect example of that. I was walking around with my daughter in Target and I saw this thing and I was like, I love board games as it is. Like,
This
I
is
love
one of the
playing
things we need
games.
to be doing in overtimes.
Yes.
That's what's
great
gonna
to
fill that
That's
time
great
in our,
filler.
in our overtimes.
I like it a lot.
So now we're just gonna show up and you guys are gonna watch us live on Facebook and YouTube playing board games.
You got to remind me because I'm going to clip these out. Those are going on TikTok. Those are going to be fantastic.
That is good though.
was-
I've never even seen that game before. But
Neither had I. He brought it in. I was like, I'm down. I'm down. We always talk about how
So it's called, for people who are going to start asking, because I'm sure that's going to happen, it's called clickbait.
selling pointless products one trashy line at a time.
Yep.
9 million games sold.
It's for ages 12 plus, 4 plus players. Yep. 9 million games sold. Look at them. I think it's a great idea. I can't wait to see on future episodes what other random things are in here. Like when we get to sell life-size Michael Jackson figurines.
Oh,
Or
don't allow a corner post.
do-it-yourself exorcism kits.
All right.
all right.
All right. I think it's about time we wind this bad hammer down. Michael, do you have anything that you want to pitch? Anybody that you want to shout out? Anything that you want to rep while you're free on the mic?
No, I mean I appreciate you guys having me on. You know, seeing it. When it was just a thought, literally in that back room over there.
An inventory rack
An
sitting
inventory
here.
room, yeah. I think I was sitting like right underneath it at this point, right behind it. And but no, first podcast I've been on. You guys are great. Like I said, I find it funny as hell.
Thanks for coming.
But that clickbait game, I'm gonna have to work on that game.
You will.
Next time
Dude,
I come
telling
back,
you,
I'll
Next
see
time you
what.
gotta
money.
be prepared.
Yeah, I gotta be prepared for this. I wasn't. Jason did not give me any.
I didn't. Yeah, there was no forewarning whatsoever. It was
No.
like, hey, show up. You can get on if you
That's
want.
kind of how we roll sometimes. It's the beauty of this.
It's kind of our bar talk time, bro time.
Totally.
Do you have your closing words?
I do.
Scott.
I have something to ponder.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
It's not
Deep thoughts with Jack Handy.
What is this shit? You just get to change your closing whenever it is? There's no
No.
consistency here?
Yeah, it's semi-consistent. It was
I
a
do
dad.
not approve this message.
It was a dad joke that might have gone a little sideways with the kids. So I was walking behind the couch, like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Earth walking." And they're like, "Huh?" And I started walking backwards. I go, "Now I'm moonwalking." They're like, "Dad, that's dumb."
That is dumb. What? Like the moon spins in a different direction or something?
like
so
when
it's like,
Michael
when I go
Jackson
back,
walks backwards,
I'm
it's
aware of what a
moonwalking.
moonwalk is, but
So
you
then,
were
what
trying
is
to
it
say
when you
earth
walk
and-
forward? It says earth walking, right?
Earth walking. Could be sun walk.
Could be.
Could be. I actually want to make one quick shout
It's
out.
actually called Uranus walking.
That's my anus farting.
I want to make a shout out with and then basically one more statement after that. Well, two statements after that. So the first one, I want to thank my friend Dougie Fresh, Doug Wilkinson, back in Cedar Falls, Iowa, for pushing the Don't Be So Brewed podcast out there. He's been listening.
Did you find him on the farming dating website? Is that how
We went to college together. We went to college together.
Alwaysfarmers.com.
Alwaysfarmers.com.
That doesn't exist.
So he's the guy who
We used
like,
to ride tractors together down in Iowa.
he's the guy who like in 2014 or 2012, 2014, something like that, had a podcast that is the first one I ever listened to.
Gotcha.
So, and he's talking about starting one up again. So
Jason?
you've been giving him,
He's been
Jason?
all over our stuff, right?
Yeah.
Jason,
That's what I say.
Jason, why don't you come on the back of my John Deere? Do a little podcast here together.
podcasting. And then the second one is, if you're not watching and following this stuff all the way through every episode and you're not interested in what the Studio Dallas and the Don't Be So Brewed podcast is doing out there, you're missing a ton of stuff. We've got
I'm
podcasts starting this week that are going to be recording out of here. So you're going to be seeing this
Two
room
of 'em.
and this background taking place on a lot of other scales. And then, as always, don't forget to like, follow, share, check us out on YouTube, subscribe, and Dr. Brandon Brown.
I'm the migraine doc, and I approve this message.